about, I think AI is going to be bigger than the internet.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome to another amazing talk on tech.
We're back.
Updates. Everything is AI. So, why don't we just talk about AI?
AI this, AI that, AI these days. As always, these days.
Nobody's safe.
Nobody's safe.
It's crazy. We're in an era where anybody can just be...
Everyone is up for grabs.
Everybody's up for grabs. You know it's such a vibe. Can you feel the vibe? Such a vibe. Like the vibe.
I love it.
Subscribe, don't dull yourself.
It's JEJE VIBE.
Subscribe, don't dull yourself.
Now.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome to another amazing talk on tech.
We're back.
Updates. Everything is AI. So, why don't we just talk about AI?
AI this, AI that, AI these days. As always, these days.
They say it's the biggest thing since the Industrial Revolution.
Of the internet, the World Wide Web.
Since inception.
This is why I feel like there's so much innovation ahead. And I think people tend to underestimate this moment. In some ways, I always like to point out when the internet happened, Google didn't even exist.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I think so when you think about, I think AI is going to be bigger than the internet.
And you cannot say that because the World Wide Web is still big.
Huge.
And AI is nothing but a fraction of it.
Easy.
So you cannot say a fraction, a feature is big than the World Wide Web.
So, just like everything else, we're hearing the pumping of this AI. First off, it was AGI.
That never came to pass.
There's AGI, which I'd like to hear your definition of AGI.
In many senses, if you asked me or anybody else to propose a definition of AGI 5 years ago, based off like the cognitive capabilities of software, I think the definition many people would have given then is now like well surpassed. Like these models are smart now.
Right.
And they'll keep getting smarter. They'll keep improving. I think more and more people will think we've gotten to an AGI system every year. Even though the definition will keep pushing out and getting more ambitious, like more people will still agree to it.
Now the AGI is
Tossed out.
We have systems now that are really increasing people's productivity, that are able to do valuable economic work. Maybe a better question is, what will it take for something I would call super intelligence?
Okay.
If we had a system that was capable of either doing autonomous discovery of new science or greatly increasing the capability of people using the tool to discover new science, that would feel like kind of almost definitionally super intelligence to me.
And then now, hey, the new buzzword was AI agents. Oh, the AI is going to be agentic, like the CEO of Microsoft said.
agentic.
About it, right? They are essentially CRUD databases with a bunch of business logic. The business logic is all going to these agents. And these agents are going to be multi-repo CRUD, right? So they're not going to discriminate between what the backend is. They're going to update multiple databases, and all the logic will be in the AI tier, so to speak.
And we're seeing products right now being thrown out as the agentic AI.
Nothing but a, I guess, compilation of some components into a feature in the back end. Oh, please.
And this is what we're scared of.
I think we've passed that by this stage now.
Is the goal a world where every knowledge worker effectively becomes this agent manager instead of just a knowledge worker?
Yeah, it's a metaphor. I think that makes sense, right? When we say we are definitely trying to build a scaffolding for the AI age.
It's still automation. And right now you're being able to like still automate when it comes to this is tech, like for me, this is tech that's supposed to be out here since
We should have been revolutionized past this by now.
past this.
Yeah, but hey, we are here now. But don't now make it seem like it's this shiny object that is out there, whereby it's still everybody that's still, I guess, the AI agents now. It's still a lot of developers that put in effort into putting all these codes in GitHubs now
Facts.
and other places.
But it's not the only, I'll call it, UI for AI. There will be many other places and many other developers will build them, right? You could say the UI for AI for developers is GitHub. UI for AI for some scientists will be, what we talked about in our discovery or some third-party applications.
So now we have all the codes there, hey, to be able to create a search bar. And all you can do now is automate it and be able to pull it out of where someone has put it in the repository, like you all say.
The repository.
So I do feel the best thing that can happen is diffusion. In this phase, I think any knowledge worker, whether you're in software, whether you're in just horizontal knowledge work, in finance, in sales, or in science, use the tools, change the work, you have the agency to change your work artifacts, the workflow around you. And of course, I'm clear-eyed that there is going to be displacement. And so therefore, the best defense against that is skilling, reskilling. And it starts by using tools versus not using them.
So this is going to be a crazy time that we're in.
I agree.
A lot of people are going to be affected.
A whole lot, because hey, all the informations are out there now. So you can see how some people, you don't need them to be able to, you don't need them for the jobs anymore, whereby you could just search for it and it's there for you to be able to access.
Facts.
So there's no doubt about it. There will be job displacements.
And nobody is safe.
Nobody, even the tech giants too, are not safe, because now the good thing about this era is the fact that everybody is now leveled up. Even the software engineers that got laid off by the big tech, now they can get to start creating their own product now. Let me put it that way.
Facts.
So they can create something that can make the tech giants now in extinct, the AI that they created, that they use to displace people's employment.
Facts.
So everybody's up for grabs.
So if you're a developer, if you're a software engineer,
This is the time to start building. Yes, I'm saying it now.
this is the time to start building. And the time is now. It's never been that easy for you to build.
This is the opportunity now. Everyone is in competition. Even a single developer is in competition with Google,
Facts.
with ChatGPT, with DeepSeek, with every goddamn thing. Yes,
Facts.
I'm saying it. And it's an
Facts.
amazing time to be alive. Some people's ass gonna get whooped.
Tech updates.
Hey, also, Apple Intelligence now is getting his ass whooped.
Where is the intelligence In the app.
They failed to deliver those features that they
Oh, this is what you're going to get.
with the woke campaign too.
By now, you'll be thinking Siri's supposed to be like.
Hey, the only thing they were able to deliver was the Gemoji. Months after they lied about the 16 release, 18 iOS release.
Crazy.
So let's start off with the current state of Apple Intelligence. How many of the promised features did we get, and which ones are we still waiting for? Well, in terms of the ones we got writing tools, which lets you rewrite any text to be more friendly, more professional, or more concise. This has been here from the very start, and it works pretty well, although from my experience, it is nowhere near the quality of ChatGPT. So I mostly only use it for proofreading my emails on my Mac. There's also Image Playground, which is this completely separate app that lets you create AI-generated images using some suggested prompts. This was not present in iOS 18 in September, and instead only came in December in iOS 18.2. And I think I've used it once or twice, and that was it. There's also Genmoji, which Apple has been pushing quite heavily in their billboard ads, which lets you create custom emojis. This also came later in iOS 18.2, and I think I've used it maybe 3 times in total. Then there's Visual Intelligence, which lets you find info about an object or a place by holding the camera control button or the action button if you've got an iPhone 16e. This also came in December in iOS 18.2, and whilst it does work fine, it does use Google for the results. And when you want to ask it for more info on something, it uses ChatGPT instead of Siri. So yeah, Visual Intelligence does feel more like a Google and OpenAI product than an Apple product.
Apple, Google.
Everybody's up for grabs. Hey, also the Google Gemini 2, that VO, whatever that came.
Yeah, the VO.
VO3. It's available today. VO3 comes with native audio generation. Now you prompt it and your characters can speak.
They left behind a ball today.
What manner of magic is that?
This creation is beginning to look like it's something that's going to start passing off as misinformation, and that's not good.
This is
not a good creation from Google. Yes, I said it. Yeah, we can see how better it is in terms of the video generation and all those things or whatever, but we've been also seeing how they've been passing off as some sort of news now.
AI-driven news aggregators start blending factual reports with algorithmically optimized dramatic embellishments to boost engagement. In a bid to combat misinformation, AI content generators begin watermarking all human-created text with potentially unreliable content warnings.
Hey, we've seen some of this generation of the real video. We know the real video clips.
Gotta give him that hawk too and spit on that thing. You get me?
And we can see the generated versions of it.
What's one move with AI that makes haters go crazy every time?
Oh, y'all gotta give him that. This is wild. It's over. We are cooked on that thread. You get me?
That's... I don't even know what to call that, because now it's like your disinformation in the whole system with that. And that's not good.
It's just like the same thing with Meta bringing out
AI companion.
I do think that people are going to use AI for a lot of these social tasks. Already one of the main things that we see people using that AI for is kind of talking through difficult conversations that they need to have with people in their life. It's like, okay, I'm having this issue with my girlfriend or whatever, like help me have this conversation. Or like, I need to have this hard conversation with my boss at work. Like, how do I have that conversation? That's pretty helpful. And then I think as the personalization loop kicks in and the AI just starts to get to know you better and better, I think that will just be really compelling.
That's the problem. You call yourself a social media company in terms of socialization of humans with culture and everything associated with it. Yet, there's no form of engagement on your platform, and the only solution to the form of engagement of your platform is now AI companion, making people even more dissociated from the society.
Crazy.
There's the stat that I always think is crazy. The average American, I think it's fewer than 3 friends. 3 people that they'd consider friends. And the average person has demand for meaningfully more. I think it's like 15 friends or something, right? I guess there's probably some point where you're like, all right, I'm just too busy. I can't deal with more people. But the average person wants more connectivity, connection than they have. So, there's a lot of questions that people ask of stuff like, okay, is this going to replace kind of in-person connections or real life connections? And my default is that the answer to that is probably no. I think I think that there are all these things that are better about kind of physical connections when you can have them. But the reality is that people just don't have the connection and they feel more alone a lot of the time than they would like. So I think that a lot of these things that today there might be a little bit of a stigma around, I would guess that over time, we will find the vocabulary as a society to be able to articulate why that is valuable and why the people who are doing these things are like, why they are rational for doing it and how it is adding value for their lives. But also I think that the field is very early.
The social platform that ended up turning into an antisocial platform.
Crazy.
Everyone is up for grabs these days.
Martins.
Also, Claude that came.
Claude 4.
4, rather.
In my conversations with Anthropic and your colleagues, it's always been this heavy emphasis on building for the enterprise, rather than starting with a generative AI tool that is for the individual or the consumer. It's interesting, therefore, some of the case studies. Rakuten, for example, how might a Rakuten use Opus 4 or Sonnet 4, just in very real terms in running their business?
Yeah, absolutely. And so we often think about what are the internal use cases and external uses that we have. And often the external use cases tend to be the startups that are like rapidly scaling and they're building on top of Sonnet, for example, and then being able to commercialize that. But I think the internal use cases are just as interesting. And those I kind of think in a couple of categories. One is, large, hard enterprise code-based problems, and they're not easily solved with just a couple lines of code. I'm migrating from Java 7 to Java 8, and I need the code. I need Opus to run for hours to be able to chew through that task, for example. So that's one way Rakuten is using Opus right now, is being able to do agentic work over their large code bases over hours, for example.
So Claude is pivoting to coding.
Mm-hmm.
I think they've given up the chat race to OpenAI.
Yep.
And Google.
Because the chat race now is being overplayed.
It's been overplayed.
Yep. And Claude being in the code space is not bad at all.
Facts. So.
But hey, someone's knocking on the door. They call it Darwin.
It's been about 2 weeks since Google DeepMind dropped AlphaEvolve. AlphaEvolve had an evolutionary process that, among other things, improved itself. It's a step towards self-improving AI. And now, just about 2 weeks later, this is Sakana AI. We've heard from them before. They introduce the Darwin Gödel machine, open-ended evolution of self-improving agents. So both AlphaEvolve and this Darwin Gödel machine kind of approach it from a similar angle. You can think of it as kind of a parents and offspring, parents and children. If a new process is created that seems like it's better, it's able to accomplish a task better, more efficiently, that becomes sort of a new branch on the tree. And we try to go down that path to discover if there's even sort of a better approaches down the line of that child. If it's offspring, if you will could potentially be even better in some way.
just like you're having no sleeping this time.
Just when you're trying to catch a break, just when Claude is trying to catch a break, there's Darwin.
No sleeping this time.
AI evolution.
There's open source coming as you're making it your business model. So it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yep.
It's crazy. We're in an era where anybody can just be.
Everyone is up for grabs.
Everybody's up for grabs. So that's AI updates. Agentic AIs.
It's not so agentic anymore.
It's crazy times. What you guys think about the AI era?
It's moving really fast. It keeps changing.
It's quick. You got to be in the loop to know what's going on.
and hey, I will still say it again. There's still nothing spectacular about it.
It's still mead, but it's getting there. It's getting there. That's why we're saying nobody's safe.
Nobody's safe.
It's getting there.
And that's the best place to be for the underdogs now. It's time to rise. Yes, I said it.
It's time. It's time to build.
It's time to match up now.
It's time to build your ideas, your dreams.
Yep.
It's time.
Everyone's up for grabs.
There's no time right now.
Yep.
There's no time like now.
There's no time like now. Hey, they've displaced y'all from their jobs now. It's time to give some ass whooping. Yeah, I said it.
It's time. And on that note, if you're new to the channel, you want to stay in the loop on the AI news, we touch on everything on this channel.
We do it
in a JEJE vibe way.
Easy.
So if you're new to the channel, welcome. We'd love to have you more. Subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Especially our tech bro brothers and sisters. This is the place to be.
We'll keep you in the loop on what's going on in tech. And we'll mix it up with some entertainment.
Oh yeah, facto.
And mix it up with some... there's ain't no telling what you can get in JEJE Vibe. We'll just give you the vibe even way.
Hey, and then our next text update, it might be the glasses now. I've been staying away from that shitty spyware.
We'll talk about it. So if you're new to the channel, you know what to do. We'll see you guys in the next one.
It's JEJE Vibe.
55, 55, 55. You know it's JEJE Vibe, JEJE Vibe, JEJE Vibe.
It's JEJE Vibe.